Hey, welcome back to the Lick of the Week videos. This is our second video in the Bill Cheatum video series where we're going back and revisiting the song, and I'm giving you some ideas to spice up what you're playing, give you new ways to play the melody, some improvisational ideas. Last video we looked at part A. This is part B, and I'm going to play for you what I consider just a generic version. It has a little bit of Scruggs. It actually has some Doug Dillard ideas, has what's known as the Doug Dillard roll, which is 1, 2, 1, 5. Doug made famous in a lot of his songs, and that's generally what I'll hear if I'm going around the country and I'll hear versions of Bill Cheatum. When they get to the B part, the banjo players, if they're not using melodic style at all or single string or anything, they're generally rolling around using bits and pieces of the chords. So this is what you might hear for a standard version of the B part of this song. And again, that's great, and you're getting hints of the melody here and there, and you're filling the gaps with melody notes you're not grabbing with broken chords. That's a partial D, that's a partial E, A, and then doing Scruggs filler licks, especially at the end over the turnaround section. So for the sake of this video, the first thing I'm going to do is measure by measure. I'm going to replace the first measure of the Scruggs Dillard ideas, which takes about a measure to play that. 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. So let's replace all that with a melodic version of the melodies, because with the melodic we can, mimic what the fiddle player is doing. So here's what I'm going to render melodically for that section. And what I'm doing is the open fifth. I'm sorry, I'm bumping the camera there. Second string at 7, open first, so it's a forward roll. Then I'm switching to the third string at 7 and playing a 3-2-1 roll. So it's melodic in nature because it's based on the A scale, but it has some roll qualities too. It's forward roll, 5, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. I'm just shifting over one string out of the pattern. So even though it is melodic, if you're a Scruggs player, you can relate to this because it's roll based. And then for this, I'm going to actually keep the Doug Dillard roll, but I'm going to shift it in one string. I'm going to shift it to the second string. And what we're going to play here is 2, 3, 2, 1. Which you might think, okay, that's not melodic, that's based on a bar chord. But the way the notes flow gives it a feel like melodic style without having to worry about all these complicated open string, closed string combinations. Now I'm going to shift that up here to an E, that's a bar E at 9. Play the same pattern, 2, 3, 2, 1. And when I hit the open fifth, that puts me back in A. So this would be our section that we're going to replace. And we're going to replace it with this. Now, at the end of that first measure, we have another measure of this, which is A, leading down to the E chord. And again, most of that's generic, or whatever you want to play. You're basically just toying around with trying to capture a little bit of the melody and provide drive and all that, which is great. But let's try something. Let's try a melodic scale, a melodic A pattern. Which sounds like a lot of notes, but again, it's scale-based. It's based on the A major scale. If you know a melodic G scale, all you have to do is slide that pattern up 2 frets because of the capo. Here's the pattern I'm playing. Slightly out of tune, I'm sorry. 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2. And then there would be my A note. instead of going here for my A note, or I'm sorry, I should say B note, it's a B note because I'm capoed up. This would be my B note location. So I can grab a little bit of that E chord action. So again, I'm replacing something like all of that Scruggsy stuff with this. And I'm replacing the scale note B here with this B note because it's part of the chord. Even if you don't use the whole chord. I pull my other fingers out of the way. It's just a partial. So let me put all that together. Now I'm on the repeat. Now we have this last section, which is a turnaround. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 1, which is a turnaround measure. A quick 1-5-1 chord change interval is known as a turnaround. So for that, since the melody pretty much gets siphoned off to that point, there's no real melody structure there as far as the Scruggs version you're playing. Let's play something that's more melodic in nature. Here's one of the most famous melodic tag licks of all time. And again, it's just an A scale that's turned into a big long arpeggio that we've played around with to make a pattern of it. Here are the notes. This is 7 and 6 on these two strings. 7, 6. Second string, first string. 2, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1 open. Replace that note again and play 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3. And that gives us this very recognizable melodic ending phrase. If you're not that familiar with melodic style, especially not playing scale patterns, you're going to be at a disadvantage trying to play any of these things. So I'm assuming you already play some melodic style. If you don't, go back and see if you can figure out how to play these melodic scales. I've posted some things on other Lick of the Week videos about melodic G, C, and D patterns. Go check those out. And I think maybe this ending itself has been covered in another melodic video of mine. But anyway, there's other sources on the internet, books, teachers. You know, you need to learn how to play these melodic scales in order to do these breaks that I'm showing you. So let's put it all together, and this will be our B part for Bill Cheatum. And that's leading us into the E. Repeat. And then we do the tag. A little more up tempo. There we go. So now you have the B part, pretty nice, sweeping melodic version, whatever you want to call it. But hopefully you can use these ideas just to spur you on to try something different. You can take some of these patterns, rearrange them, morph them around, slice and dice them, cut and paste like you would on a computer. And it's unbelievable what you can do. And if you wanted to try some single string licks, you could do those in there. But what you need to do is organize your thoughts into measure by measure. What am I doing in this measure? What chords are being played over? What's the melody doing over these chords? How long do those chords last? So if it's a measure of A and a measure of D or whatever, you're substituting your ideas over those specific blocks of time. And it helps you organize your thoughts when you're coming up with a break. So I appreciate you watching this video. This will wrap up Bill Cheatum. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next video.